Well, hello, church family. Today's Wednesday, December 9th. We're right in the middle of the Christmas season here in the second full week of December. There are two items that I want to talk with you about just very briefly today. Number one, again, saying thank you to those who made our Thanksgiving Baskets ministry possible by your hands-on involvement, as well as your financial support. Because of your generosity, we are able to do more than what I anticipated and what we shared with you even as early as last week. We are going to be able to minister to 11 families, again, different families, but yet from the same school system here in Fairfax, families from Providence Elementary and Lanier Middle School. We thought maybe we would be a little more limited in what we could do, but because of your generosity, we are able to minister to 11 families. We pretty much have what we need to do that. Now, for those of you who were thinking, well, I was going to give, is it too late? Well, not really. You can still give up through this weekend and just make a note as you typically would for Christmas baskets, and all of that will go in to that resource. And here's how we're going to do it. We're providing stockings, which for each of the children in these families, and there are children that are in the school age range, 17 and under. And we're providing in that stocking a very nice gift card that will allow them to purchase, whether it's an item of clothing or a certain toy that they would like, or toys, depending as the case may be, as well as filling that stocking with traditional stocking stuffers, the treats of the season, maybe some fruit, and of course, maybe another little gift or two, some gloves, those kinds of things. Then in addition to that, we will include a gift card to the parents, to the family, so that they can purchase whatever they would like to purchase for their Christmas meal. And that'll be a gift card for a specific grocery store in the area. And so we're going to do that for 11 families. Again, thank you for your generosity. If you'd like to give, you can still do so. But we're pretty much set to go. Unlike the Thanksgiving baskets, it's not going to be as bulky of an enterprise. The shopping will be greatly reduced, and as well as the delivery changed a little bit. We offered, because of the volume and the weightiness of what we were giving people for Thanksgiving, we actually offered for many of them to deliver it to their homes. What we're going to do for our Christmas baskets, or the stockings and the meal card, we're actually requesting that those families come by and pick those items up. And we're going to be doing that on Sunday the 20th, immediately after church. We're just going to tell them anywhere between noon and 1 on Sunday the 20th. I know that we've got folks mingling around for church even at that time. We got deacons meeting. That should not get in the way of any of that. But if you would like to be a part of that distribution process, as the people come up, they'll tell us their name, their family name, and we'll go back inside to the fellowship hall where it's set up, and we'll actually come and hand them right there at the car that gift. And so if you'd like to help with that, we do have a few people already who have stepped up to the plate. Even if you're not regathering yet for worship, there could be a place for you. We'd love to have you. So just circle that on your calendar. So thank you so much. I'm just amazed at your generosity and for the way that we're able to make a difference in the lives of families. And one of the neat things is because we're dealing with local school systems right here in Fairfax, we're able to build relationships with the school administrators, the school social services, where we can actually begin to build relationships with families and those in our immediate community in need. So thank you for being so generous this season. The other thing that I wanted to just talk with you very briefly about was my upcoming sabbatical. Now, I made veiled reference to it last week, but I knew that many of you probably, by the time Midweek Minutes was delivered digitally to you, you may not have received in the mail the letter that explained my upcoming sabbatical. And if you're not a part of our church family or a part of our attending family and you did not receive a letter, it's dated November 27th. It's from our deacons. I have provided a copy of that, or technically David has, provided a copy of that attached to this email and this video. So if you'd like to just see the letter that was sent out. But let me share with you some of the specifics, some of the things that are going to be happening, things that were not actually in the letter, as we were still tying up a few loose ends, and want to share with you now how those loose ends have been tied up. First of all, I am going to be away for the entirety of the months of January and February of 2021. If this is taking you by surprise and you're thinking sabbatical, what's this thing about a sabbatical? When I came as your pastor nearly 6 years ago now, there was an agreement in the call covenant to include for every 5 years of ministry that there would be a 2-month sabbatical in addition to the other times away and things of that nature. And that sabbatical was, quote, due, if you want to say it that way, here in 2020. It had been my desire to take some time, and about a year ago, we were beginning to have the conversation, including into the first part of the year, this year, of possibly taking off that sabbatical for July and August, maybe, after the 4th and come back after Labor Day kind of thing. It had been my hope to do some traveling, even internationally. Well, with COVID arriving, that made it very difficult. And I did not feel that it was in best interest of trying to pull this off, but also, of course, in the best interest of our church for me to be away in such an unusual and uncertain time. In fact, it would have been those months that we were just beginning to regather and explore new ways to connect and all of that. So I think that was the right decision. However, the pandemic continues. There's still limited and travel possibility, and I am not going to travel internationally for this sabbatical. What we decided to do, and this was in consultation both with personnel and with our deacons primarily, and others, we're going to take that sabbatical for the first 2 months of 2021, and it's going to be kind of local. Yes, we'll still be in town some, but we were also going to be doing a little bit of traveling, me a little more than Kathy because of her work responsibilities here. So I was going to be away regionally. Part of that was to help my mom retire and to move her office and to wrap up some things and to set up kind of the next phase of her journey, both with her career and just life. Well, now that is all changed. And I mentioned to you last week, asking you to continue to pray for me and my sister and our family. I am the executor of my mom's estate, and all of that probate is being processed, and we're ready to begin moving forward with managing that. And so it appears that a significant portion of my sabbatical, that time of respite, will be spent dealing with those matters. And so in a unique way, the timing has worked out to allow me to focus, to allow me to be a part of our family and the grieving process and that ongoing and that healing process without having the demands of the pastoral ministry. And so we thank you, Kathy and I do. I thank you for this opportunity to do this. I'm going to miss you. It's going to be a fast 2 months. But let's talk a little bit about some of the technical matters for January and February. First of all, I think it works out not only in the timing matters that I just mentioned, but for most of the time, and certainly in light of COVID, especially in light of potential further COVID-type restrictions that may be on the horizon for us, January and February kind of works out. It's kind of a dark, cold months. It's the darkest, coldest. It's where people might stay in. We're not in and out. We have fewer activities and so forth anyway, just in a normal calendar year. And so in light of that, plus COVID, it seems to be a very reasonable period of time where we can step back and say, if nothing changes, even in the COVID protocols, doing what we do now is pretty simple. It's pretty basic, and me being away, it's very easy for someone to step in and work within that system. So we're kind of set with the way things are. And so for Sundays, Brian Jones from North Star Church Network, our local association, will be stepping in and serving kind of as like a short-term interim. I believe he is going to be preaching through the book of Philippians. That's what he's mentioned to me. Don't hold him to that. But that's what he feels God is leading him to do. And it can be a nice, wonderful way to work through those Sundays. There's actually 9 Sundays that I'm going to be away in those 2 months. And so he'll be leading on Sunday mornings. And unless there is further restriction required, pretty much worship will look like it is. You'll be able to chime in, and chances are I'll be doing that too, at least most of the time, be able to chime in online, certainly regathering safely within those protocols. None of that changes unless there's further restrictions that could come down the pike in the days ahead. So that's pretty simple. You know Brian. Brian was the interim pastor here just prior to my arrival 6 years ago. And he was also in the pulpit with us on several occasions, including most recently the first 2 Sundays of August while I was away on regular kind of vacation. So he's a familiar face. He loves you. You guys have loved him, and he's looking forward to being with you. And I appreciate him. He's a great friend, and I appreciate what he's willing to do for our church family during this time. Tuesday night Bible study will continue. We meet at 7 o'clock on Tuesdays. The one caveat, the one little adjustment, is that for January and February, Tuesday night Bible study will be remote Bible study only. It's through a Zoom link. We will not be having local gatherings on Tuesday nights here in the library or fellowship hall. We're still offering that through the month of December, at least through the 22nd of December, that week leading up to Christmas, the end of the week. But after that, for January and February, we'll have Zoom-only Bible study. If you'd like to be a part of that and you're not, simply respond to this email David here in the church office, and we'll put you into that package of the Zoom link that goes out usually midday on Tuesdays. Tim Harvey, who has been attending with us really for almost a year now, started with our church family back in the first part of 2020. He's been an active part of our Tuesday night Bible study over these months. And in recent days, including a couple of weeks ago on very short notice, Tim has stepped in and filled in very well. He's a great student of the Word, and he enjoys teaching. So he has agreed. It's a long commitment. There's 8 Tuesdays in those 2 months, and he has agreed to lead in that way. So that'll go on just as normal. So I'll just be the missing piece. Regular schedule with the one caveat that Bible study is online only, and then worship pretty much doing what we've been doing. And that looks to be pretty reasonable perspective for the months of January and February. I will be doing some traveling. One of the things that I wanted to do really prior to my mom's passing was to do some research into some study actually in professional level podcasting to kind of up our game a little bit. Always want to, when I take a sabbatical, find a way not only to benefit me, both the respite and maybe a new little focus of something of interest, but in a way that feeds back into the health and benefit of our congregation. Since I'm not going to be able to go do some church history study in a musty library in England, that was kind of my second choice. Some of that may be a little bit smaller scale based on the new demands that have suddenly befallen me, but I still plan to look into those endeavors and maybe have a little fun, and maybe our midweek minutes will look a little bit different in the coming months as well. Something that we'll continue to do, most likely, despite whatever happens with the pandemic. And so this is your midweek minutes for this week. Today's Wednesday, December the 9th. Those 2 items, the Christmas baskets and stockings and meals that we're providing for 11 families. I've shared that with you. Reach out to us if you'd like to be a part of that distribution. Yes, you can continue to give. Just be sure you denote that gift as Christmas baskets, even though it won't be a basket. That's what we're calling it. So keep it that simple and just say Christmas baskets. And then, of course, be praying for our church and for the many regional and local travels throughout the Southeast that I'll be doing during my sabbatical. Thank you for allowing that. Thank you for agreeing to that. That was something that the church approached me with years ago. It was not something I requested or demanded. It's something I've experienced before, and it is certainly beneficial. It has been a very stressful year. And the COVID stuff, as much as we've tried to boil down to some great simplicity in the way that we have to do things and to function within these protocols, it has added a totally different kind of stress, which is very fatiguing. And then with just the stresses of the season, and of course my mom's passing, I think we need to break. And so it is not a break from you guys. We're going to miss you. It is just a time to recoup and to actually have that time of respite. So thank you so much for offering that. Well, I'll be connecting with you at least another 1 or 2, 3 times like this between now and then, but I wanted to go ahead and just put that out there to you since many of you received that letter. And again, if you want to know more information, and we'll do this right at the end of the month, we'll give you another kind of a January, February combined print newsletter with the phone numbers that you might need in case of emergency, those kinds of things. That's forthcoming. But in the letter, you find our deacon chair's direct phone number, and you can reach out to her. And our deacons are going to be stepping in and filling in the gaps, just as they've done through this pandemic and in years past. Anytime the pastor is absent or away or during an interim time, they're right there on the front lines of pastoral ministry. So the church will continue to function, and I think all of you who make that happen and allowing me to get away. So we'll give you some more fine-tuned details in the days to come, but that should suffice for now. And so, know we're a few weeks away, but Merry Christmas season to you. And we're looking forward to connecting with you on Sunday, one way or another, safely regathering at 11. Or go to our website, and you know the drill. Right there on our homepage, click that Watch Now button and connect with us online. Thanks. Have a great rest